good.
Hello and welcome to the World of CONCACAF podcast. We are live on the road, literally, to the Copa America qualifiers in Frisco, Texas. This is Eric.
This is Jonathan.
This is Donald.
And I'm going to try not to crash the car while I'm driving here. But we're in Texas. It is the middle of our CONCACAF Nations League Finals weekend. Obviously, the one weekend we look forward to more than any other weekend in the year, the calendar. We'll start off. Jonathan, this is your first CONCACAF Nations League Finals. How's the experience been for you?
I think the experience would have been quite different if the game would have ended a minute earlier the other day.
Oh yeah.
Aside from the fact that I've willingly come to Texas, my first Nations League final has been quite enjoyable.
Yeah. Obviously, we've had a lot of fun here in Texas. We've been sampling some
Have
wonderful.
we, though?
I've had some very good barbecue. Hurtado's in Arlington. Shout out to them for 2 solid meals. Donald, I know you've been down here a lot more, but being back in the area, what have you enjoyed experiencing being back?
I'm glad that Jonathan got his first Nations League experience.
Not first Nations League, my first Nations League finals
experience, yes. I will say that if you didn't have Haji Wright scoring a brace in extra time to win 3-1, then you just weren't paying attention, because I definitely didn't have that either, because I was paying. I did call 3-1. I did say the game was going to end 3-1. I just didn't say how I was going to do it, but it's been wild. I think you have to have some sort of chaos. It almost just begs the question, what chaos are we going to see tomorrow?
Oh yeah.
I mean, I think the question before what chaos do we see tomorrow is what chaos may we see in just a few short hours.
Yes. Yeah, so as I said, we are on our way to Frisco, Texas, the former Pizza Hut Park, to see the Copa America playoffs between Canada and Trinidad and Tobago, and then Costa Rica and Honduras. I think chaos is really what's on the menu today. A lot on the line, one game, neutral site. It's going to be a packed stadium with a very mixed crowd. Other than Canada's pain, what do we want to see today?
Canada's pain.
Okay.
I think that's A, B, C, and D. No, I want to see vibes. I want to see chaos. I want to see, the ref blow for full time in the 80th minute. I want something like that to happen.
Yes. Yeah, going back to the Nations League semifinals, I think it was quite CONCACAF that they went to extra time, and the clock for the first half of extra time, they did not have a clock. It just said 90 minutes. They just were playing. And then they're like, oh, well, we realized we were wrong. So they put 15 minutes on the clock and ran it for the second half extra time.
Yeah, I was having trouble getting service in the stadium during the game. And during that extra time when Haji scored, I texted somebody. I was like, I at least got off a text message like, what minute are we in? The other thing too, I was also my first experience at AT&T Stadium at Jerry World, and fuck, that thing is huge.
Yeah, I'm telling you, when I say it's the Starship, it's not a joke. If you looked at a sci-fi movie and you think about the moon bases or Mars base, they're not that big. That thing is massive. You can literally be at the top and be a healthy person and get vertigo in that thing. It is a monstrosity.
Yeah, I got in a little bit early, about an hour before kickoff, and since the U.S. was the first game, there was not really anybody in there, and so I climbed all the way up to the top level, and it's just unbelievably massive. It's a cool building, a bit soulless, if you ask me. As cool as it is, it just the vibes in the section were high, but I felt definitely through the first game, I think just kind of what I've seen on TV is the vibes, even though they were high in the section, did not come through on the broadcast.
Yeah, and I mean, part of that is it wasn't even a full building. They announced 40,000. That crowd came and went between the two games. So it really wasn't that great of an atmosphere, and it's unfortunate because this is the Nations League Finals. You would want these to be sold out, like intense crowds, intense environments.
Ticket prices probably had
And ticket prices were not ideal for that. I mean, get in was $50 for a Thursday night game for the upper deck, where again you're going to get vertigo. Yeah, it's a shame that more people weren't there because both games were, classic Nations League. Like, the one thing about CONCACAF Nations League Finals is that you get what you like. You know what you're getting. You're getting bangers for games, like Jamaica scoring a minute in, and then an own goal, extra time, stoppage time equalizer in the first game, and then in the second game ended up 3-0. But Panama was pressing on Mexico. Like, Panama had opportunities. The scoreline at halftime did not reflect how that first half went, and it's a shame that game, in hindsight, doesn't look like it's as competitive as it was. But Panama put up a good showing. Jamaica put up a good showing, and they're still going to end up playing for third place.
Yeah, I mean, I think, too, there's not really anything on the line for the third place game, so I don't imagine that the Panama-Jamaica game would be as electric as it would be if there was maybe something on the line for either of these two teams, since they've both qualified for Copa America already, so there's not much for them to really play for it. So I imagine, especially some of the players that got more important things going on in their club careers, it just may not be as intense of a game.
I wonder if the Panama coach is going to coach that game now. Before the game on Thursday, they did a moment of silence for his dad, who I guess passed away a couple of days ago. And you could tell he was obviously visibly emotional about it, which would make sense. And I wonder if he's like, hey, I got to coach this game. But I wonder, now that they're in a third place game, if he just says, let me go back and tend to my family business. That'd be completely understandable if he did.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But we've got U.S.-Mexico. We don't want to take too much time on this, but U.S.-Mexico Nations League Finals, could it be anything else? Like, I assume that everyone kind of expects it's always going to end up U.S.-Mexico in a final. Mexico has not beaten the U.S. since 2019. How are we? Where are the vibes at right now as far as the U.S.? Are we going back to back to back? Or are you a little nervous after that showing on Thursday?
I wouldn't say nervous, but I definitely need them to respond, right? We need, for U.S. fans, that was not a good performance at all for the first 95 minutes and 6 seconds of the game. And it took an own goal, which, again, brilliantly set up by Miles Robinson trying to press, had the ball towards the goal. But you needed the U.S. to play a little bit better than that. You definitely needed, considering how Mexico looked pretty good. I wouldn't say they looked like world beaters or anything, but they looked fairly good against Panama, and you have to expect that the energy level is obviously going to go up. The vibes are going to go up. The potential for absolute anarchy that's 100%. Like,
Serginho Dest is now available, so
he's now available.
We definitely know
Wes is here.
Yeah, we definitely know the anarchy is going to be up with him there.
I mean, we haven't had a Nations League match between the U.S. and Mexico that has not had red cards.
Right.
Plural. So, like, the bar is high, but again, Nations League always delivers. So I'm really excited for that game tomorrow, Sunday. You can obviously watch on Paramount Plus and Univision, right?
Univision, yeah.
All right. Before we get to Frisco and focus on the Copa America qualifiers, we should touch base on the fact that World Cup qualifying started yesterday.
But did it? If no one saw, actually, take that back. One person, we know one of our friends that saw it.
We know two people saw it.
And someone listening to this pod did see it in person.
Yes. First of all, we had Anguilla, Turks and Caicos, and 0-0 on Anguilla's home leg. Anguilla missed a penalty, apparently, which would have been a great opportunity to get the result that they desperately need.
And a goal.
They desperately need. But in the other match, the Virgin Islands Derby, someone called it the sexless Derby, but I think all of CONCACAF is sexy, so no. I'm not going with that. We had a 1-1 draw between the U.S. Virgin Islands and the British Virgin Islands. And most importantly, we did get a report from our friend Ray, who attended the game, and pointed out, like, hey, there's a guy wearing a shirt that says CONCACAF is a vibes-based economy at the game. And I want to shout out James, who is a fan of the podcast, who is wearing that shirt. Really appreciate your support. But I think this podcast is broken contained. We're just having people show up in our gear at random World Cup qualifiers on islands.
Breakout performance there.
Island qualifiers. It's great to see. So shout out James. We really appreciate it. But now both series are going to the second leg tied up. Obviously, British Virgin Islands got the away goal, but what are you guys looking for here? Like, Anguilla, that's pretty disappointing that they couldn't get a better result from that home leg.
I kind of disagree. I think not getting the goal, yes, that is frustrating for them. I do think them not allowing a goal is the important thing here, because
no away goals,
right? And now they get to go to Turks and Caicos with an opportunity. If they score an away goal, that puts pressure on Turks and Caicos. So that, I think that part they can take and be okay with the result. But yeah, if you have a penalty and you don't convert it, that obviously makes it a little bit more frustrating.
Yeah, I would agree with Donald that I think getting the result, keeping a clean sheet, is huge for them. We've seen through a lot of Nations League that they've not only have they not gotten results, they've been very, very leaky at the back, and so like that is a huge thing for Anguilla going into it. And so, you know, keeping my prediction alive, I had faith in Anguilla. I will continue to have faith in them going. I'm going to call another 0-0 going into the next leg, with Anguilla advancing on penalties.
They just missed a penalty. You're going to call them advancing on penalties?
Yeah.
It's a bold call.
Yeah, you know.
That's how CONCACAF works sometimes.
Yeah.
Also, how CONCACAF works, I think, is appalling in the year 2024 that there's World Cup qualifiers happening that are not broadcast anywhere. This is the World Cup qualifiers. And
yeah, why didn't Paramount Plus pick this up?
I don't know if I don't think World Cup qualifying per se was part of their agreement.
It is, because it's part of the early rounds, especially, are part of it. Because remember, when they first started it, they didn't start it with Nations League. They started it with World Cup qualifying.
Yeah, it was the World Cup qualifying that, like, right after COVID, and so we got all of those games. Like, I think it was the first time we got to see Dominica play. It was a big deal because it was the first time we got all of that. So I don't know if there was like technical we know that there was technical limitations or issues when the Virgin Islands game, because they posted that they had that one post that like there wouldn't be a stream due to technical.
Well, like they announced like, hey, we're not doing a stream, but the fact there wasn't like an actual broadcast agreement, like it is World Cup qualifying, it is the outside of Nations League, which is by far the premier sporting competition.
And let's preference CONCACAF Nations League. We're not.
Yes, CONCACAF Nations League. There are no other Nations League. There are only imitations. But like World Cup qualifying, like it is the World Cup. It is part of the process. That is the biggest thing you do outside of Nations League. And the fact people are playing games, like no one's gonna see Turks and Caicos and Anguilla. Like one of them will be done in a couple days for this cycle, and no one's going to see one of the qualifiers.
Look, I seen a literal birria taco joint field a soccer team that I could watch on a stream the other night, and I couldn't watch World Cup qualifying.
You could also find a stream of a beach bar in Anguilla live, just a live stream of a beach bar in Anguilla, but you could not find one of a World Cup qualifier. Really disappointing.
Going back to the breaking contain of the podcast, I think one of the long-term goals of this that I have is I want World of CONCACAF to be a training kit sponsor for a CONCACAF team. So how we make that happen, we'll figure that out. But I think that's a goal of mine with the podcast.
We should talk to Stimulus about that. So just throw us on one of those, man.
Like if we're giving you business, like this is part of the deal. Hey, when you do this, country's warm-up tops,
throw us in the back there. Throw us in the
sleeve sponsor.
No, that's anything big. It just be the logo. It didn't have to have any words.
Listen, and we'll just trade it like they give us exposure, we give them exposure.
Yeah.
I mean,
if there's a federation out there listening to this that would love to have us sponsor your kids at no cost, please let us know. Podcast@gmail.com.
I mean, more people will listen to this podcast than saw the opening rounds of qualifying.
Yes. Yes. By definition. That's
think of the reach.
Yeah. So we are approaching Frisco. We've got two. Are these considered CONCACAF Nations League matches because it's part of the competition?
No,
or is it just
considered Copa America play-in games?
I think they're called Copa qualifiers.
Well, they're listed on the Nations League website.
Yeah, they're not Nations League games. They're not considered part of Nations League. They've been branded as part of the qualifying process for Copa America. It just so happened that Nations League served as qualifying for Copa America.
Well, you know what? If we go there and they're selling T-shirts, and if any of them has the Nations League logo on it, it falls under the umbrella.
All right.
That's the way we're going.
I think they all fall under the dream.
Yeah.
El sueño es ahora.
Yes. Yes. The dream, it's now. Forever. All right, let's do some predictions. First game, we've got Canada facing Trinidad and Tobago. Canada, I don't know if they're going to be breaking out their Tim Hortons throwback kits.
They better be. Why they make them?
Also, Trinidad and Tobago going to be rocking new kits as well.
Mm-hmm.
So really excited about that. Donald, what's your prediction for this Canada-Trinidad game?
I don't like it, but I think it's going to be 3-0 to Canada. I don't know why I feel that way, but I think that's what it's going to be.
Jonathan?
1-1 Trinidad on penalties.
Ooh. See, like for me, I feel like Angus Eve has done a really good job getting Trinidad to be competitive, and this is good. They're going to sit back. I think Canada's clearly got the top end talent. I think they're going to get it done, but I think it's going to be 2-1. I could see Trinidad popping out and, smack him in the face a little bit, but I think Canada's going to end up getting it done.
I think Canada's X factor is that they didn't bring Milan Borchardt. So
yes,
that they have addition by subtraction, which they are just now figuring out.
Yeah.
North of the 49th parallel.
Yeah, I mean, also shout out Chili's.
Shout out Chili's.
We just passed the Chili's, official sponsor of CONCACAF Nations League.
And damn, do they want you to know that they're a sponsor for those? At the broadcast, at the game, all the advertising boards had Chili's logos everywhere, and Chili's was out there giving out these dope soccer jerseys. Gonna try to get my hands on one today, but we should, if we are able to get some pictures, able to get our hands on one, we'll have pictures on the podcast and on the Instagram feeds for sure.
Yeah. No, for sure. So second match is going to be Costa Rica, Honduras. How are we feeling about that?
This one's going to be the
I think it's
competitive one.
I think it's going to be an absolute banger.
Yeah.
I think we're talking multiple. Discipline report is not going to be clean on this one. I think
it's going to be 2-2 after extra time. I'm flipping a coin in my mind. Costa Rica advances on penalties.
Okay. I definitely have Costa Rica advancing as well. Although, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be easy. I think Honduras is going to bring a lot.
And Costa Rica doesn't have a lot of their It's a generational change in Costa Rica, you know. I think Honduras is going to grind out a result here. I'm going Honduras here.
Yeah, I'm going to stick with Honduras. I think they're gonna pull it out. Like you said, Costa Rica is in the middle of a bit of a generational change, and also there's just they're missing some guys. Some of their guys that were supposed to step up in this new generation of players have not done that. And yeah, I'm gonna hold it down with Honduras.
All right. Well, anyone else wants to add?
No, I think that's it.
Okay. Yeah, we're rapidly approaching Pizza Hut Park. I'm really excited. Like, this is just a great weekend of soccer. The weather's been pretty solid. I'm just excited for the day.
Yeah, very excited for the day. Weather's phenomenal. Let's go see some Canadian Tears.
We have all you can eat and drink tickets too. So I'm willing to see how much we can eat and drink. I don't know what the drink part is. I don't necessarily care, but we're gonna test some theories today. It's gonna be fun.
All right.
We're gonna get Eric hyped up on Mountain Dew and let him fight a Canadian.
I don't need Mountain Dew to want to fight a Canadian. Let me tell you.
No,
that.
but we want to rig the fight. So
Yeah.
pumping Mountain Dew in you is gonna help.
Yeah, get all jacked up.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for listening. We'll have some more content coming post Nations League.
We're gonna get some video today at the game, so yeah, it's gonna be good.
Live from the rental car.
Yeah,
signing off.
Live from our Toyota Corolla out somewhere near Frisco, Texas. This is the World of CONCACAF signing off.